Hey there, and welcome to the Crunch Time Performance Show. I'll be your host, Caden Thompson, and today I'll be bringing on the first ever guest to the show, Tate Medicoff. But before I introduce you, I want to remind those of you who may not be subscribed to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of our weekly episodes. But without further ado, Tate, welcome on.
Thanks for having me. I did not know this was the first episode of the show, so I'm honored to be your first guest.
Yeah, first ever guest on the show, Tate. It's an honor. I hope you feel honored. But I just want to introduce Tate for y'all real quick. So Tate's a sophomore at my alma mater, Santa Clara. He's also a member of the baseball team. So we grew really close through my playing career. And so in his freshman season, Tate logged 100 at bats. He hit 280 with 4 homers, which is a pretty impressive line for a freshman campaign. And he will definitely be in line to build on that progress from last year. So, Tate, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. And I want to ask you, as you prepare for your season, obviously failure and adversity are inevitable, right? We're going to have setbacks. So, I know you were telling me you recently dealt with the flu, which took you out for a week in the middle of your preseason. And just for context, anyone who doesn't understand how difficult that can be right before the season, let me paint this picture for you. When you have to miss a week of preseason reps, you lose weight from being sick, you feel worn down because your body's been going through it. It's just a terrible time for you to fall behind when all you're trying to do is focus on being as prepared as possible for your season. Tate, I want to ask you, how do you handle adversity like this?
Yeah, so initially, I was frustrated, as anyone would be, but then I kind of shifted away from the frustration into, all right, now what's the best way to handle this? That's kind of how I always attack every situation with like a clear head. And I was like, all right, well, I'm sick. I'm going to be out for a little bit. But, compared to what mentality, this is way better than if I got sick during the season, right? I'm not missing any time in season, right? If any time is to have the flu, it's right now. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get through this. It's going to suck and I'm going to miss some stuff. But when I get back, I'm going to get back and I'm going to be that much hungrier to get after it because I know that I missed that time and I'm just going to be excited to get back. So I was just thinking about, how excited I am to be back when I'm going to get back and like, how excited I am going to be around the guys again. So I just kind of let that help me get through it and remind me that like, this is stuff you have to go through, but it's all worth it when it's over.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, you take the approach of I can't control what happens to me, but I can control how I respond. Is that kind of the way you see it as far as like dealing with adversity goes?
Exactly. One of the biggest things that I tell myself a lot is just focus on what I can control. And something like this was completely out of my control. I had no control on if it was going to happen to me or not. And I had a little bit of control on how fast I could get better, by doing the right things. But that was largely out of my control. So I just kind of had to let it run its course and just know that when I came back, I could do everything I could day by day to get back on track.
Absolutely. And I mean, it sounds like you're handling it in a fantastic way. And I want to ask you another question about this experience. So you sent me a message today, and it was really powerful about dealing with setbacks. You said basically nothing good comes easy. And I thought, what an absolute savage. I mean, just having that approach to a setback is unreal. And so I want to ask you, how does that mindset help you push through challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I face something hard, the best way for me to get through it is to turn it into a challenge. I'm a super competitive person, as most Division 1 athletes are. So I kind of see it as, all right, like this is a challenge. This is something that other people aren't expecting you to just get through, right? So I'm like, all right, this is going to be hard. Let's attack it and let's try to get through it and get something good out of it. And it's going to be way better than if I just coasted through something easy. And it's going to be way more meaningful because I went through the mud and the dirt and I got out and I got something that I wanted, and it's going to be that much more satisfying. So kind of shifting the mindset from I feel bad for myself into how can I get through it so it's going to be really cool on the other side of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you almost take an attitude of gratitude approach to dealing with some of these things. Can you maybe speak on that a little bit? Is there a little bit of gratitude that goes into dealing with some of these setbacks as using the approach of like I'm going to become better because I went through this?
Yeah, I mean, I think every experience has something to take out of it, good or bad. I mean, I can give you a little bit of context. So, as you probably know, I'm type 1 diabetic, and I got it when I was young, when I was 9, and I mean, it sucked. I was a young kid. I had no idea what was going on. It scared the hell out of me. But after that, I realized that that experience forced me to take care of myself at a young age and to be on top of my stuff. And I think it's one of the biggest reasons why I am very routined and I have my stuff together because I was forced to get everything together at a young age, and I'm still live with it today, but I'm grateful that it happened, and it's a part of who I am. So I think that can, relates to anything in life. You can always take something good from a bad experience.
Dude, I am impressed with your mindset as it comes to facing challenges because it'd be so easy for you to experience these different things like being type 1 diabetic and getting dealing with that at 9 years old. Like that's such a challenge, but you just take this approach of like, I'm going to be better for it. And I'm so impressed with that. And that'll kind of bring me to my last question. Like, as an older player, I always admired your work ethic, your mindset, your drive, your commitment to your process. Can you talk about where that came from and how important it is to your performance?
Yeah, so I think I had to form the routines and the work ethic because of failure. I think, I was always, a talented player and all that, but there was definitely times in high school when I struggled a lot. Um, sophomore year, I'm a hitter now, but sophomore year I didn't get to hit. I was a pitcher only actually, and so I went a whole season without hitting, and that frustrated the hell out of me. And and then I had a summer between junior and senior year where I was absolutely terrible. I think I went like 2 for 40 or something. So I think experiences like that, like going through it, it made me it made me want more. And the way to do that was to form routines and create a process and work really hard so I could actually get the success that I wanted. And when I started to realize that the success I wanted, I couldn't just grab right there. I had to work on the process. It made me just double down on what I could control and what are the things I can do that give me the best chance for results. So that's kind of where I got my work ethic and my routines. And then when I started to kind of see the results from the work I was putting in, then it just blew up from there. I just kept going.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where as you implement those routines, and like you said, you start to see a little bit of results, and it's like a little bit of fruits from that labor, and then it fuels continued growth in that process and continued commitment to that process. So,
Yeah.
is there any truth to that as far as like a positive reinforcement of, hey, I'm working really hard, and then we're not focusing on the result per se, but we do see some result naturally through the commitment to the process. And then does that potentially feed more drive and commitment to the process?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think as a human nature is when you get something, you tend to want more of it. So I think when I saw some of those results and I was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. I was like, well, I just want to do it again. I mean, I feel like hitting a home run in a game is one of the best feelings of all time. It's euphoric. So I basically just decided I was going to do everything I possibly could to feel that as much as possible. Um, and I also want to say this is a little bit away from the question, but these mindsets and these things, they don't just happen, right? Like the only way to attain these things are to struggle and to learn from those struggles. So don't be afraid of failure because it is the best thing for you, especially when you are young. There's nothing better to learn from than failing over and over again because the best in the world have failed more than we have because they've done it more. So
I was gonna ask you one more question of is there anything you wanted to leave the viewers or the listeners with? But man, that was a perfect message, I think, to wrap up this episode. Tate, I've had a fantastic time having you on. I know it was a little bit quick, but I think we left the listeners with a few really valuable nuggets of something they could take and apply into their everyday life. I'm I will always be impressed by your mindset and your drive and your commitment to your process. It's fabulous to see, and it's no surprise that you see the results that you work for. So, Tate, again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. If there's anything you want to say to listeners, do it now.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I think I covered everything. But thank you for having me on. Although it was short, it was a great time, and I'm willing to talk mindset and performance any day with you. So
Awesome, dude. I mean, I'm without a doubt we're gonna be talking, and I'll have you on again soon because this was fantastic stuff. So really appreciate it,
100%.
Tate. Hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to the show to make sure you don't miss any episodes with guys like Tate Medicoff, Absolute Gym, and we'll see you in the next one.